So, welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to our lecture series called Daily MCQ Practice. In this lecture series, we cover a particular day's current affairs through a set of 4 to 5 MCQs. The purpose of this lecture series is very simple. We want you to revise your current affairs. We want you to get the much needed revision. And that much needed revision should also come from the much needed MCQ practice. Because MCQ practice would come in really handy when you are appearing for your prelims examination next year. Because 40 to 50% of the MCQs are directly or indirectly related to current affairs. Therefore, MCQ practice from current affairs is very important. Now, the thing is, 4 to 5 MCQs on a daily basis might seem like a little effort. It might seem too little. But these 4 to 5 MCQs covered on a daily basis would add up. And they would add up to more than 1200 MCQs by the time you're ready for your next year's prelims examination. And 1200 MCQs, by the way, is more than sufficient when it comes to current affairs only. For static subjects like polity, geography, history, economy, we'll have separate MCQ series. This lecture series is dedicated to current affairs alone. Alright? So make this lecture series a daily habit of yours. It should be a part of your daily routine because you would really feel confident while appearing for prelims examination as far as current affairs portion is concerned. Okay, enough of the introduction. Let's straightaway jump into the lecture, starting with question number 1. Consider the following statements regarding Places of Worship Act 1991. It prohibits change in religious character of a place of worship as it existed on 15th August 1947. One of the grounds for constitutional challenge to this law is that it takes away the power of judicial review from the higher judiciary. Okay. This law is applicable to all places of worship in India without any exception. Okay. Now, the thing is, Places of Worship Act was enacted in 1991 because of the raging disputes between Hindu places of worship and Muslim places of worship, because various Hindu organizations argued that these Muslim places of worship were erected on the ruins of, by destroying Hindu places of worship, and we need to rectify that. Okay, so to stop this problem of continuous disputes regarding different sites in India, Places of Worship Act was enacted. It said that you cannot change the religious character. That means if it's a Hindu place of worship, it should remain Hindu place of worship. If it's a Muslim place of worship, it should remain Muslim place of worship. You cannot change its place of worship's religious character. Okay, and the religious character as it existed on 15th August 1947 shall remain. If the religious character was different before 15th August, then it's a different story. But the religious character as it existed on 15th August 1947, you cannot change that. Okay, so this part is correct. Now, there was just one exception to this law, and that was Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi dispute. In that case, the matter was in the Supreme Court. Okay, but apart from this dispute, no other place of worship or no other dispute shall be entertained. Okay. Now, recently, Places of Worship Act was challenged in the Supreme Court on the grounds that it is unconstitutional. And the two grounds that were mentioned were, number one, that this law takes away the power of judicial review. It prohibits the judiciary from reviewing the status of or the religious character of a particular place of worship, because it says that you cannot change it. So, judicial review is part of the basic structure of our constitution. So, that is why they say, critics of this law say that it takes away the power of judicial review and it's violative of Indian constitution. Second reason for challenging this law, bringing a constitutional challenge to this law, was that this date that was decided, this cutoff date of 15th August 1947, is arbitrary. On what basis was this date decided? So that is why these are the two grounds on the basis of which this law was challenged. Okay, so this is also correct. Now, this law is applicable to all places of worship in India without any exception. No, I just told you that Babri Masjid Ram Janmabhoomi dispute was an exception. So this is false. Only two. Answer is B. Question 2. Consider the following statements regarding the concept of one nation, one election in India. Government of India has accepted the recommendations of Ramnath Kovind Committee on simultaneous elections in India. It would require amendment to Article 82, 83, 172 of the Indian Constitution. Simultaneous polls of center and state assembly would require ratification by 50% states. Okay. Now look, it is the goal of government of India, the present government, the present establishment, to have one nation, one election. That means simultaneous elections for Lok Sabha as well as state assemblies. Right? State and center elections should be simultaneous. Now, for that, government formed a committee under the chairmanship of former President of India, Ramnath Kovind, and the recommendations given by Ramnath Kovind panel were mostly accepted by Government of India. So this statement is correct. Now, if you want simultaneous elections for center and states, you need to have a constitutional amendment bill that would amend the constitution. And which articles of the constitution? Article 82, which deals with term limit for Lok Sabha. Article 83, which talks about delimitation, and Article 172, which talks about term limit for state legislative assemblies. So this is correct. Okay. Now, Ramnath Kovind panel also said that one nation, one election means that the elections of local bodies, that is panchayats and municipalities, should also be held on the same day as Lok Sabha and state legislative assemblies, right? But Government of India, as of now, is not going for that. It is only going for simultaneous election of center and states, and local bodies would be left free. Okay. So the constitutional amendment required for simultaneous elections of only center and states would require a constitutional amendment that should be passed by two-third majority in both houses of parliament. But if you want simultaneous elections for local bodies as well, then that would require a constitutional amendment which not only requires two-third majority, but also require ratification by 50% of state assemblies. Okay. Simultaneous polls of center and state would require 50%. No. Simultaneous polls of center, state, and local bodies would require 50% ratification. So 1 and 2 only. Okay. All right. Question number 3. Which of the following is our correct regarding Durgadi Fort of Kalyan? It is close to the banks of Ulhas River near Mumbai, Maharashtra. It was a prominent trading port of Adil Shahi Sultanate of Golconda. This fort was taken over from Mughals by British in 1818. Okay. Now, currently, Durgadi Fort is in the news because of a communal dispute. Hindus claim it for themselves, Muslims claim it for themselves, and Maharashtra government claims it for itself. Okay. Now, this dispute between Muslim community and Maharashtra government was in the court. Okay. Hindu community was not a party to this case. Kalyan Civil Court. And Kalyan Civil Court recently ruled in the favor of Maharashtra government that this site belongs to the government. Okay. Now, what is this fort? So, Durgadi Fort of Kalyan. Kalyan is basically a place which is about 50 kilometers away from Mumbai. Okay. And it is near the Ulhas River. So, this fort is on a platform adjoining Ulhas River. So, this is correct. Now, this fort was a prominent trading port during 1570s when the Adil Shahi Sultanate, Adil Shahi dynasty, Adil Shahi Sultanate of Bijapur, not Golconda, was ruling over this area. Okay. Then in 1700s it was taken over by Marathas. Okay. And in 1818 the Marathas lost to British and British took that site. So it was a prominent trading port of Adil Shahi Sultanate, absolutely correct, which was of Bijapur, not Golconda. Okay. In 1700s, it was taken over by Marathas. And then, when Marathas lost to the British, it was taken over by the British. So this fort was taken over from Marathas, not Mughals, by the British in 1818. So this is also false. Only 1. And last, consider the following statements regarding universal health coverage. The theme for 2024 Universal Health Coverage Day is health. It's on the government. PM Jan Arogya Yojana is Indian government's attempt towards UHC, which provides rupees 5 lakh per year health coverage to all citizens. In India, share of out-of-pocket expenditure of the total health spending is around 45 to 54%. Now, what do we mean by universal health coverage? If a country has universal health coverage, then all the citizens of that country have access to good quality healthcare services. Good quality healthcare services. Okay. Their access is not forbidden because of lack of money. Even if they don't have money, even if they are poor, they are given good quality healthcare. Okay. And this good quality healthcare is allowed for all citizens. That is why it is called universal. Now, Universal Health Coverage Day, International Day for Universal Health Coverage, is celebrated every year on 12th December. The International Universal Health Coverage Day of 2024 had a theme also. It was health. It's on the government. That means government is responsible for providing UHC to all its citizens. So this is correct. Now, India has attempted towards universal health coverage. Okay. And that attempt was Ayushman Bharat. Okay. Now, what is Ayushman Bharat? So, Ayushman Bharat basically has two components. One is it will establish primary healthcare centers across the country so that people have access to primary healthcare. Okay. These are called health and wellness centers. Then the second component was Pradhan Mantri Jan Arogya Yojana, which provides health cover, okay, health insurance to poor people. Okay, around 50 crore poor households would have access to health insurance, which provides 5 lakh per year health coverage or 5 lakh of worth of hospital expenses per year. Okay, 250 crore poor people. So it's not PM Jan Arogya Yojana is not for every citizen. It is for poor people. So it doesn't cover all citizens. It covers poor people because rich people can afford healthcare on their own. Okay. So this statement is false because of the word all citizens here. Okay. Now, universal health coverage is still a dream. Why? Because most of the expenditure on healthcare comes out of the pocket of patients themselves. Okay. WHO says, or Sustainable Development Goals say, that out of pocket expenditure as a share of total health spending should be just 20%. That means 20% of the total health spending in a country should come from the pockets of patients. Okay. Rest 80% should come from health insurance, government support, and whatnot. But in India, the out of pocket expenditure is still very high. It is 45 to 54%, which is bad because most of the burden of healthcare expenses falls on the patients, and rich people can afford healthcare, poor people cannot. So this is correct. 1 and 3 only. The answer to this question is C. And with that, we conclude today's session. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I'm hoping that you'll spend the necessary 5 to 10 minutes revising this lecture also. Because revision of these MCQs would really help you guys to remember these MCQs for longer periods of time. Okay. Now, what do I mean by revision? Take a look at the detailed written solutions to all the MCQs discussed above. Okay. Now, where can you find detailed written solutions to all the MCQs discussed above? Well, you can find them from our notes. And these notes shall be shared on our Telegram channel. Now, the link to our Telegram channel is provided in the comment section below this video. You just have to click on that link. It will take you to our Telegram channel. And from there, you can download the notes, spend another 5 to 10 minutes revising the MCQs discussed above. All right. On that note, I'll be signing off. Thank you so much, everyone.